But now we have a true legend. We now welcome an FSU football icon and professional wrestling legend, Ron Simmons, who will be inducted into the WWD Wrestling Hall of Fame over the weekend in WrestleMania down in South Florida. Ron, we appreciate you spending some time with us.
Oh, thank you. Good to have you. Thank you for having me on.
Ron, former FSU coach Bill Peterson once said that he was being indicted into the Hall of Fame. It must be better being inducted into the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, I think I'd much rather be inducted. I think I've been indicted before. I think I'll take induction.
Hey, Ron, what's taking so long for you to go into the WWE Hall of Fame? I thought it was going to happen last year in Atlanta.
Well, I mean, but I think I'd much rather have it in Florida. You know, that's somewhere where, you know, the state of Florida holds dear to me. You know, I had my collegiate career there and lived there for a period of my life, so this is much better for me.
I'm going to ask you a tough question here. What's more of an honor, being inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, as you were a few years ago, or being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame?
You know what, man? I've been asked that question a thousand times right now, and I can tell you the truth. They both, and I have to answer it the same way. You know, when I got inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, I could not believe that I was standing there in the side of the ceremony there, looking at the bust of all of the people that I've admired over the years. I mean, Jim Brown. I mean, there's Troy Aikman, Thurman Thomas, and people that I've admired, and here I am worthy of them. And I have to say the same thing about professional wrestling. I come up where I was, you know, with the guidance of Wahoo McDaniels, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, and now to be inducted among them, hey, the meaning is the same to me.
Ron, you want to hear my Dusty Rhodes imitation?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Huh? I am the American dream. I'm the tower of power, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour.
Hey, look, I don't think you better. I think you better just stick with doing the radio.
Come on, Ron.
Ron, I bet you do a great Dusty Rhodes impression, don't you?
Can you do one?
Oh, well, look here, baby. See, I've got it down.
That's all you got?
And on top of that,
I'm going to stop right there because that's the part that I know I can say best.
I was going to say, I'll bet you do a great Ric Flair impression.
Well, no, Flair sometimes. How about just woo? But see, my voice is too deep to do Rick, you know.
Ron, how did your catchphrase "damn" come about?
You know, it's really funny how that happened, man, because I think the people within at some of the matches when we would do them like live in certain cities, and each time the people within the first 10 to 15 rows, something would go wrong in the ring, or I would get hurt or something like that. And I would always blurt out, damn, you know, and everybody could hear that within the first 10 rows. So when I started coming to the ring after a while, and my partner, Bradshaw, we started noticing everybody was just starting to say, damn. And, you know, then he said, you know what? I think they're marking you, man. And I said, about what? He said, you know, you say that every time something goes wrong. And after that, we started, you know, catching on that they were doing that, so we decided, you know, to incorporate it in some of the skits, and it just manages to catch on because I think everybody in everyday life have to say that to someone every day.
Got the T-shirts, too. The damn T-shirts.
Yeah, it's great, man.
Hey, Ron, what do you think you're most remembered for, being a college football legend in this state or being a wrestling legend?
Oh, I would have to go with football, no doubt, you know. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's without a question. You know, with football and first, of course, that's my first love and everything, and then plus, you know, the state of Florida and the people there were just so great to me, man, during my collegiate career and even to this day. So it's without a doubt football.
Okay, you were on Bobby Bowden's first great team at Florida State back in 1980. You guys went undefeated during the regular season. What are your remembrances of that team? What are your feelings about Coach Bowden today, and were you upset the way he left FSU?
I was extremely upset the way that he left FSU, man. You know, because that holds dear to me personally. Because, when I came there, first of all, I was scrutinized for going and choosing to go to FSU. When living in Middle Georgia, I was automatically assumed was going to be a Bulldog. And once I told and people realized where I was going, man, they God, I mean, they could have blew up my house, okay, because they were like taunting me. You know, it was an all-girls school. They've never had a winning season in 15 years and all of this. So I was there when the school was going through it, man, when it was going through the coaching changes, when the stadium was just an oversized high school stadium. You know, I was there with the guys that had the idea of, hey, we're going to show this country and show these people that, hey, yeah, this might have been an all-girls school, but it's right now, these are men on this football field, and we can hang and play with anybody. So I know what it took to get this school to where it is today. And being the catalyst that Coach Bowden was, to get that off the ground, I know what he had to go through. I watched him, how he dealt with myself and dealt with everyone and everything that he put into it, man, to be a great coach and to put this school on the map. Absolutely. I was just appalled the way that happened.
Speaking with Ron Simmons here, Open Mic, 7-4 The Game. When you decided to get out of football after your collegiate career and then you had a brief stint in the NFL and the USFL, how difficult was the transition to get into wrestling?
Well, that kind of happened, you know, not me being too willing. I'd always been a fan of professional wrestling, but I was working down in Tampa at the time, had hopes of becoming like a broadcaster and doing voiceovers and things, but I took a job working at a detention center there for the time being, and now I was working there, and there a trainer by the name of Hiro Matsuda had his facility right behind the detention center where I was working. So one day I was out with the kids out in the field with exercise, and I was approached by him, and he looked at me, I mean, of course, someone walked up to you looking at you, I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, man, hey, I'm not that kind of guy, right? but he says, no, I'm looking at you, says, you look good, you really good shape, and he says, how would you like to consider being a professional wrestler? And that was right after football. I said, no, forget it. I just got through with football, and I'm trying to just wind down here, let my body heal up. He said, well, how much money you make here? I said, well, God, look what I'm doing. Not much. He said, well, how would you like to double or triple your salary within a year? I said, well, look, when can I start? and that's actually really how it got started.
I used to love Hiro Matsuda. Did he teach you any of those judo chops he used to do?
Man, look, and I have nightmares to the day about what I went through with him, okay? With the board whippings, I mean, all of the tacks and the barbed wire crawl unders, everything. I have nightmares to this day, but I wouldn't have had it any other way. I mean, it set the course for what was to come for me. That was the rugged road and the idea of endurance in this particular business, man. If you can't endure this, you won't last. So I was very fortunate to have him as a trainer and to go through that.
Ron, does it, obviously you were a trailblazer also in the world of professional wrestling, the first African-American champion ever. What does that mean to you?
That means an awful lot to me, man. I sometimes sit down to myself and think about that, and it never hit me until after I really retired and really sat down and looked at that to think that, hey, you managed to do something of really within my life, and that is to open up doors, for young African Americans to come into this business if they're willing to work hard and be dedicated to doing it, because it's not for the slight of body and of mind, but it's just to set an example for everyone, not whether it be black or white, that if you're willing to work hard at something, it's there for you to achieve. But I'm very, very, very fortunate that it was me to have been the person that have opened up the doors, and now that has happened, to see young guys come behind me like Mark Henry, Booker T, and all of these guys, man, I feel quite honored to have been the one to do it.
That was back in 1992. You won the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Tell me about what it was like leading up to that when they said, hey, Ron, we're going to make you the champion.
Oh, it was unreal, man. I believe I was somewhere in like my 5th year, and actually I walked into the stadium there, the Coliseum there in Baltimore, just working at that night, probably a mid-card match. And when I walk in, and Bill Watts, and my hat is off to him for giving me that opportunity. When I walked in, he said, Ron, he called me over and he says, look, how would you like to go up for the world championship tonight. And I was shocked to like, look, hey, stop kidding me, you know, please. He said, no, tonight. I was absolutely shocked, man, you know. And when it took place, I think I was in more shock than the guys and the girls and that were crying and screaming on the front rows there, you know, because it was such a great feeling to have worked hard for something as I did in football, you know, and to see it finally come true, it was quite a feeling.
Ron, Brian Fritz just asked you what was it like when they told you you were going to be the champion. They don't tell you that. You had to win it in the ring, right? That's real, isn't it?
Well, you know what? They might speak it in another language and see if you can pick it up.
I remember when I was watching wrestling when this happened, and I didn't think anybody could ever pick up Vader, and then you just snatched him up like it was a baby and slammed him down. I was like, whoa.
Hey, that was, believe me, that was just pure adrenaline, okay, kicking in with that, all right? Because he's a big man at 400 pounds, you know, and thank God for him being athletic. Otherwise, that probably wouldn't have happened.
Ron, when you played college football, I think I remember, weren't you like the strongest man in college football? Didn't you like bench press cars or something when you were in college?
Yeah, I was pretty strong. I think I had the record at that time for coming out of high school, and then I think I might have peaked in college at around like 555 pounds or so on the bench press. So that was one of my biggest strengths in college, you know, being that I was a linebacker out of high school and then made the transition to playing a nose guard, so and being undersized considered for that position. So I had to capitalize on what was my strengths, and one of them was being very strong, and the other was being very quick and mobile and fast. So that's what really helped me a lot in my position.
He is FSU football icon and professional wrestling legend Ron Simmons. He will be inducted into the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame over the weekend down at WrestleMania. Ron, congratulations on that honor. We appreciate you joining us this morning. Can we get a damn before we go off the air?
Well, the only thing I've got to say to this, man, if you're not an FSU fan, you should be. Bam!
Yes!
Thanks, Ron. Looking forward to seeing you Saturday night.
All right, thank you.